Hey all, so I am here today to make a different kind of video for a few reasons. So I'm going to talk to you about why I personally oppose NFTs coming to Magic and why I dislike them in general from an artist perspective. You may be asking yourself, what is an NFT? I'll get into that in a second. Also, you might be a crypto stan here to yell at me about my thoughts, in which case you're really kind of just wasting your time. Recently, Hasbro announced working on NFT technology in the company's quarterly earnings call. So, CEO Brian Goldner stated that NFTs are being considered for several games, including Magic the Gathering. So, this would likely mean that digital exclusive versions of cards may be minted for sale, and they are looking at the market as potentially being substantial. So, what is an NFT? NFT stands for non-fungible token. Non-fungible means it's unique, which contrasts to something like Bitcoin, where each Bitcoin is the same and worth the same amount. NFTs are tokens for pretty much any piece of digital content and some physical content, but that's another topic. So this can be digital art, GIFs like Nyan Cat, tweets, sports clips, digital trading cards, etc. But what do you get when you buy an NFT? So an NFT is a token on a blockchain. It's a piece of software code with a unique identifier. It's like a long string of numbers and letters, like a hash. It's a piece of data that contains information and can store more information, like history of ownership and transfer of sale. So the digital file is no way attached to the NFT, and you do not receive it when you purchase an NFT. You're buying something like a card catalog or a reference to the asset itself. You purchase the right to claim ownership and the right to exclude others from claiming ownership of the NFT. You do not have ownership of the asset, and you do not get any rights to the intellectual property by default. So the author owns the copyright and distribution rights. They also declare what rights you have as the NFT owner. So some companies like NBA Top Shop, which is a site selling NFTs of video clips of sports moments, allows you the right to use their NFTs non-commercially and for personal use. In contrast, CryptoKitties, which is a relatively popular Ethereum game that lets users collect and breed one-of-a-kind digital cats, allows commercial use that does not result in more than $100,000 in earnings yearly. So the distributor can set the copyright, the author / distributor of the NFT. So digital media can be reproduced infinitely. So just like this Beeple image, it sold for $69 million as an NFT, but I downloaded it from Google Images. As an NFT owner, you cannot stop anyone from downloading, using, or reproducing the asset. Some users believe they're buying a controlling right over the work when they purchase an NFT, but that is not the case. It's sort of like purchasing a book. You don't own copyright to any of the contents of the novel. Terms of sale also for the secondary market, once you purchase an NFT and you have the right of ownership, you can also resell the NFT potentially in the future, which is what I'm referring to as a secondary market. In terms of the secondary market for NFTs are pretty vague. The secondary market terms may not be held to the same terms as the initial sale. Most terms are set by the marketplace on which the NFT is sold. So that's like the website or whatever source you purchase the NFT from. They are setting the terms and conditions of the sale. So if you're reselling perhaps on a different site, the same terms and conditions may not apply. Some types of NFTs, and this is important, can also set creator shares. This is where the original seller can receive a percent for all future sales paid in perpetuity. So let's get into some problems for NFTs specifically when it relates to Magic the Gathering. One of the first and most obvious problems that I see is that Wizards of the Coast may apply creator shares to the secondary market. I mean, obviously we don't know exactly how Wizards is going to implement something like NFTs, but there is a chance that they may apply that creator share function, which means that they would receive a percentage of every secondary market sale forever. I mean, that just is problematic as exists. Additionally, Wizards of the Coast would be responsible for not creating additional copies of any NFT. So NFTs can be produced in multiples and they have editions tied to them, but they can be minted in multiples as the creator pleases. Interestingly, Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park, who has also sold some NFTs, stated there's nothing stopping opportunistic crooked jerks from minting more NFTs of the exact same asset. So even if you buy something that's supposed to be one in an edition of 50, originally there's nothing stopping the creator from potentially minting another edition of the same NFT. Another problem is that anyone can create an NFT and set it up for sale and include resale commissions without proving ownership of the asset. Technically, this does violate copyright law and shouldn't be done, but does happen at an alarming rate. We'll get into this in a little bit more when we talk about it from an artist perspective. Another issue is that NFTs use a massive amount of energy in their creation. Websites like ArtStation canceled their marketplace. They were going to host up an NFT marketplace for sale in trades, but there was massive backlash over environmental concerns. One artist, Le Mercier, sold their first blockchain drop of 6 videos, and these sold out in a matter of seconds for thousands of dollars. But then the artist later learned that the sale consumed 8.7 megawatt hours of energy, which is the equivalent of energy usage for 2 years by the artist's studio. This is a really big issue, especially when it comes to environmental concerns. And if you care about things like that, obviously there are ways to improve it and go to more like clean energy sources in the future, but it hasn't always happened. Another problem with NFTs and Magic is that they could be vastly expensive and inaccessible. So Gods Unchained is a blockchain card game which touts true ownership for players, but it has had cards that have been bid on for approximately like $60,000, which is almost the price that Black Lotuses can sell for in Magic the Gathering. So now we come down to what are the problems from an artist's perspective, and you might be wondering, like, why is this goth girl telling me about Magic the Gathering NFTs? What is her personal interest, attachment, and knowledge? So I actually work full-time as an artist for a major game company, and I also have experience as a freelance artist, and I have a lot of attachment to this issue from an artist's perspective. So for example, anecdotally, Magic the Gathering artist Anna Potedwarna found multiple URLs to NFTs featuring her work that she had not authorized to sell. They were shortly taken down after she brought it to Twitter that it was an issue that she had not authorized sale of these assets, but there's not a lot of regulation regarding the original listings of NFTs, which can be majorly problematic. So articles have pointed out that NFTs have the same issues that have been a problem for digital artists for forever, which is confusing hype, the whims of rich collectors, and theft. NFTs are another source that artists have to constantly be checking for theft of their original works. NFT sales will likely be a playground for already famous digital artists like Beeple that we mentioned before, and may continue the rather tragic history of art being created by the storied few and gatekept by the hyper wealthy. $69 million is definitely nothing to laugh at. There have also recently been a couple of pieces of art, physical art, that have had versions sold. For example, a work by Banksy was sold at auction, and then the purchaser of the art destroyed it immediately after purchase and then unveiled a digital NFT version. It's very performative, extremely expensive, and mildly problematic considering, some people can just destroy the original work. Obviously, this probably requires some collaboration with the original artist, since the original artist still technically is the owner of the work. But I believe that particular situation was a large publicity stunt for both Banksy and the purchaser of the art, which is now available for resale as an NFT, which probably has driven up the price of the NFT for resale by a substantial amount since the original no longer exists. NFT creation takes a lot of legwork to promote. Just putting your NFT out there for sale is not enough. It then requires a lot of work to promote it, and there's there's a big chance that if you're an unknown artist, your NFT may never sell. So specifically, Wizards of the Coast artists will likely still be working on commission basis, and it's unlikely that they will ever author their own NFTs. Wizards, depending on the contract with the artist, will likely be the author of the NFTs, and the artist will not see any percent of secondary market sales. Artists have expressed concern about the integrity of the art of NFTs. Social media hype can lead to things like Jack Dorsey Twitter founder's tweet selling for $3 million along with memes, while actual highly creative digital art can be overlooked. Commission and salaried artists may suffer since customers might be less likely to pay them. Customers may think that artists can just make all their money from NFTs and there's no reason to commission digital artists for projects anymore. Additionally, artists are concerned about the NFT hype bubble. So according to artist Andre Guadamez, who's a lecturer in intellectual property law, there's some concerns about NFTs being artificially boosted. He thinks that things like Elon Musk's tweets, the recent high performance of Bitcoin, and potentially even boredom from the global pandemic has led to an NFT hype bubble that will only burst. He's also mentioned that Ethereum stakeholders benefit so much more than artists do, and latecomers to investing in Ethereum and blockchain technologies will always be unequal. There's a lot for small artists to gamble on in minting NFTs because minting an NFT requires an upfront cost that is no small amount of money, and the NFT may never see sale. So artists are extremely concerned about the pyramid scheme-esque nature of NFT sale that may ultimately only benefit those at the very top and may only ultimately benefit the marketplaces that are set up to sell these NFTs, since the cost in investing and creating an NFT is very high. And if you're a relatively small artist or unknown on social media, your work may in fact never sell. Interestingly, the Ether currency is kind of a pseudo asset. It's bought in order to be resold again. There is no basis for the value of Ether. It's not like Bitcoin, which is capped at a certain amount, so it is valued based on its scarcity. Ether's value is really only linked to the demand for it because there is no cap to the amount of Ether available. So the best ways to make Ether's value go up includes good media coverage and demand for purchase. So if you hold Ether currency and you want the value of your Ether currency to go up, the best possible way to do that is by getting other people to invest in the currency. So NFTs have led to a really large recent boom in the value of Ether because now there is something concrete that you can buy with Ether. Previously, the only thing you can do with Ether is resell it. There was no product that you could purchase with the currency. So there really is no better way of convincing someone to buy into Ether in order to increase the value of your Ether than creating something like NFTs for people to buy with the currency. So this really leads to sort of the pyramid scheme nature of the currency because you want more people to buy in order to increase the valuation of your currency holdings. Anyway, I've included a lot of my sources for the topics in this video below in the comments. If you want to read about it, I highly suggest you check it out yourself and make your own decisions on how you feel about NFTs. A lot of the content of this video is me explaining why I feel the way I do about this topic and why I feel so strongly about it because of my personal experience as an artist and a Magic the Gathering player. But I hope that some of the topics here have been informative and helped you come to conclusions of your own about it. But it is a complicated technology, and I would recommend doing your own independent research on the topic as well. If you have questions or you want to have a legitimate chat about any of the topics covered in this video, I would love to hear from you. So please leave a comment below, and I will see you in my next video.